you know what? Life takes extraordinary turns, and we are, as a family, we're so happy here. The US provides so much opportunity and also a safe space for us, which has been great.
Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. As you can see, I'm on the road. I'm actually going to get some food shopping because I have no food at the house. So to all of my house guests, grab yourselves a drink and make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. As a child in the 1970s up to the mid-80s, Queen Elizabeth was a source of curiosity for me. She was always there. We had portraits of her hanging in the school hallways. I remember her Silver Jubilee in 1977 and, of course, her face was on our currency. She was fully embedded into the psyche of the British public. The way she was presented and the way I perceived her was that she was always perfect. So perfect, in fact, that in my childlike mind, I didn't even believe this woman ever used the toilet. The general perception, or at least what I was led to believe at that time, was that she could never put a foot wrong. Now, although we've since been exposed to the many flaws and fallibilities of the royal family, including the Queen herself, even when she died in September 2022, the days that followed were so eerie. Even now, I find it hard to wrap my mind around how this package of flesh, blood and bones was so worshipped that people queued for days in London to get a glimpse of the box on display that we were told she was lying in. So I guess Enigma would be an appropriate word to describe her. While enigma generally implies mystery and difficulty to understand, it can also be a positive compliment, suggesting someone is complex, intriguing and captivating due to their multifaceted nature. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Definition: an enigma is something or someone that is mysterious, puzzling or difficult to understand. Positive connotation: being called an enigma can be a compliment, implying intrigue and fascination due to a person's complexity or the difficulty in deciphering their thoughts and intentions. Examples: she's an enigma, always keeping people guessing, can be a positive comment about her intriguing nature. He's an enigma, but I find myself drawn to his mysterious side, suggests a captivating quality. That last little bit of gloss that remained with the royal family appears to have evaporated with Queen Elizabeth's last breath, because there's no longer anything mysterious about the lackluster members residing on this side of the pond. This is why the media struggle to write compelling pieces about them, and why crowds no longer seem to turn up for them. Now, it's no secret that Harry absolutely loves his life in America with his family.
Living here now for 5 years, it feels like home. Santa Barbara feels like home. Brought up both of our kids in Santa Barbara. I think left the UK when my son Archie was about 6 months old, and Lily, my daughter, was born here. What do I miss the most? Being British, maybe. I'm not going to say the weather, but I don't know. I think, look, there's lots of little bits and pieces that I miss. I guess the countryside is a big piece to that, and one of the reasons why we live in Santa Barbara. I'm not really a city person. I like to be out in space with a big sky above me. But no, you know what? Life takes extraordinary turns, and we are, as a family, we're so happy here. The US provides so much opportunity, and also a safe space for us, which has been great.
However, there are still a group of people who have a problem with this.
Details about Prince Harry's US visa application are set to be released this week. It follows speculation either that the Duke's previous drug use wasn't disclosed or that he was given special treatment to enter the United States. Well, Neil Connery is here. Neil, why is this being released and what could it actually mean for Harry?
Well, his US immigration files must be made public by tomorrow following this court ruling. A Freedom of Information request was brought by the US conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation. Now, Mary, they allege that the Duke may have concealed past drug use from US immigration. They say that should have disqualified him from obtaining a US visa when he moved there, of course, in 2020 with the Duchess of Sussex. Now, the partially redacted version of those documents must be released by tomorrow. In his memoir, Spare, in 2023, Harry admitted taking cocaine several times as a teenager and experimenting with other drugs. Now, President Trump said last March that Harry should not receive preferential treatment. But last month he said that he would not interfere. He said, I'll leave him alone. He's got enough problems with his wife. She's terrible. Now, the Duchess of Sussex has previously been a vocal critic of Trump, calling him divisive and a misogynist. So all eyes, I think, will be on these immigration forms when they are released tomorrow to see what Prince Harry's response may be.
A few things with regard to Trump saying he's effectively not going to get involved because Harry has enough to deal with his wife. I suspect the truth really is that he doesn't want to risk never being invited to Buckingham Palace again, because whether you like it or not, biology is irrefutable. Harry is still and always will be the son of the King of the United Kingdom. And even with that, he's reported to have not received any special treatment concerning this issue. The millions of dollars Harry, together with Meghan, generate for the US economy, in particular California, is nothing to be sniffed at. Through Archwell Productions, the Archwell Foundation, and other commercial and philanthropic endeavours, the level of job creation is highly significant. Trump apparently wanting to build a strong economy is not stupid enough to ignore this, so I doubt whether he would cut his nose off to spite his face. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Harry is somehow forced to return to the UK without his family. Number one, what would he really be expected to do here? There is no role for him in the royal family. He doesn't want to be there. Consequently, number two, can you imagine how mentally destructive that situation would be for him? So, if I were to hear about William and Kate fronting mental health charities, their involvement would be as meaningful as a chocolate fireguard, because to me, they would appear to have zero consideration for their brother's mental health. Now, Miss Anne Harriman, who is a friend of the Sussexes and their photographer, had this to say when interviewed by Krishnan Gurumurthy recently.
The industrial and very focused hate machine that I've seen, I've experienced myself due to my proximity to both Harry and Meghan, has been extraordinary. And what I would say is that, one day, her children will be adults and it'll be impossible to protect them, right? From the ledger, and it is a ledger of hate that mainly the British media has been responsible for. And what I mean by that is, last time I checked, Meghan is not dropping bombs on people. She's not annexing nations. She's not a paedophile. Yet there is way more coverage and time and words spent directing hatred towards her than people that are really, really hurting people. And I do wonder how history is going to remember those that held the pen and the microphone and kissed their kids goodnight at night and paid their mortgages off the back of focusing hatred to one woman that most of them have never met. I do wonder how history will remember those that knowingly did that for the sake of the combination of misogyny, misogynoir, greed, being part of a system that they were just like, well, I was doing what my editor told me and not caring. I do wonder how history will remember.
I mean, when you say you've experienced it, what do you mean?
Because I've had people send me DMs saying, unspeakable things that they would want to do to her, her children, her husband, myself, unspeakable things. And you have to ask yourself, how did we get here? If you don't like her, that's fine. If you don't like the things she puts out,
The TV show.
write an article saying you don't like it. But 24 hours focused hatred on this one woman, this mother, this human being, this soul, it's unforgivable.
Miss Anne Harriman could not be more right. The UK media is intrigued with this couple because this couple deny them access. Harry and Meghan will not be easily accessible to the UK media because of their lack of objectivity. This is the whole point of Harry going to court and fighting these tabloids. And the UK media are so dumb, not understanding that the more they go after this couple, the less likely they will have any engagement with them. For those writing these pieces, all of this will come back to haunt them in the future. And as I've said in previous videos, Archie and Lily will grow up and they will see how their parents have been treated, and the world will be a very different place by the time these children become adults. For some reason, people think that children stay children forever. Who knows, many of these people that write these pieces may be out of a job or may not even be around anymore. Harry and Meghan are an enigma to the UK press because the UK press simply can't get a handle on them. Do you remember, guys, back in 2020 during lockdown, no one heard from Harry and Meghan. UK media was wondering, where are they? What are they doing? What are they up to? Why? Why are you wondering? When they keep quiet, you want to know what they're up to, and when they speak, you want them to be quiet. They are an enigma for these people because the UK media cannot read them. Once you're able to read someone, once you're able to get a handle on someone, that gives you a degree of control, and Harry and Meghan will not be controlled. It's as simple as that. Now, on a more positive note.
Now, look, Gwyneth Paltrow has responded to, well, I suppose allegations about Meghan's lifestyle brand being a tiny bit similar.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because everything is similar to something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's very rarely anything completely new. And in Vanity Fair magazine, Gwyneth was basically saying, look, everybody deserves an attempt at everything that they want to try. She was talking about how that she has met Meghan and Harry, doesn't really know them. But she says, she was raised to see other women as friends, not foes, and thinks there's always more than enough to go around. So that's pretty fair.
I think that's pretty fair, actually. I would say so. I mean, all of these kind of shows are sort of the same-ish, aren't they? It's only that it's a different person doing it.
The media were looking for a story, but they did not get the story they wanted when Gwyneth Paltrow provided a response that they really weren't looking for. And I never fail to notice that when the story about Meghan is negative, they will prolong that segment. Because the segment was favourable towards Meghan, they wanted to swiftly move on. But notice Lorraine still wanted to get that dig in, that sly remark about Meghan's show being similar. They think they're clever, but they're actually not. Anyway, it's nice to see women supporting women, because it's very rare nowadays. And like Gwyneth Paltrow said, there is room for everyone. Guys, if you were with me for episode 6 of Coffee Chats on Wednesday, here's another example of Meghan rising above it all.
Meghan Markle has responded in the most royal way possible to a podcaster who said she was scared for her after the release of her Netflix show. Amanda Hirsch, host of Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, was concerned the Duchess was opening herself up to hate. She received a handwritten response from Meghan telling her this new era was the fun part. Let's enjoy it.
And I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Started thinking what it could be. Any guesses?
Okay guys, I'm back now, as you can see, and I'm just going to wrap up this video before I get something to eat. So Amanda Hirsch, I believe this podcaster's name is. I've not listened to the podcast. I don't have the context of, what she was talking about with regard to Meghan. But you could clearly see that a handwritten note changed her perception of Meghan. You don't have to be Einstein to realise that she is just living her best life. Despite what people want to say, she's going to enjoy her life. Doesn't matter what noise is going on around her. This is what I mean about she and Harry being an enigma, being an enigmatic couple. And I actually prefer that term more than power couple. Power couple is not a term that I vibe with. Enigmatic sounds better to me. And this is what makes me laugh about people like Morgan, because he loves to regale people with his tale of when, if you guys recall, when he met Meghan when she was in London to see Serena playing at Wimbledon. Him being a fan of Suits, he and Meghan arranged to meet in a pub in Kensington. He's local apparently. And you know the story, blah, blah, blah. According to him, she was charming, she was engaging. You could see this man was affected being in her presence, and then it all changed because he no longer had access to her. And that's what I mean. When you don't allow people to have access or no longer have access, their perception of you changes because you become now more difficult to read. It's like, what happened? He says that she ghosted him. But remember, Remember, this is one of the people that is not on Harry's Christmas card list. With all the stuff that happened in the 90s with the press going after Diana, Harry is justified in not trusting these people, and he does not want the same to happen to his wife. So of course Meghan had to cut off all contact. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know obviously who Piers was, but for the sake of her relationship, she had to cut that off. What Morgan thinks about that, the aftermath of that, that's his problem. That's not Meghan's problem. That is not Meghan's problem. And it's just this not being able to have access. If Piers Morgan got a handwritten note from Meghan, that would blow his head off. It would literally blow his mind. If Meghan had said, she'd have to be in a parallel universe to do this, by the way. If she had said that I'm going to sit down with anyone who wants an interview with me and you can ask me anything, trust me, they would scramble. They would scramble to get that opportunity. But remember, she's irrelevant and she's trash as far as they're concerned. But I guarantee you they would scramble to get an interview with her. No access. When you allow people, just any old Tom, Dick or Joe Blogs to have access to you, you become, when I say less valuable, it makes it sound like slavery, and that's not the connotation I'm going with. But you know what I mean. And this is the irony of what I'm about to say. They constantly refer to Meghan as a commoner, okay, because she's not of royal blood. Neither is Kate Middleton. Neither are the husbands of Beatrice and Eugenie. I believe Beatrice's husband has kids from a previous relationship. No one talks about that. That's not disparaging. That's not bringing any focus onto the royal family. These people are allowed to live their lives. There's no intrigue there. There's no interest there, to be honest. But when it comes to Meghan, like I said, the reaction of Amanda Hirsch to receiving that handwritten note, well, you saw what she said at the end. She's a fan for life. Meghan is not bothered whether, hear me, like I know her. I don't know Meghan. Well, I imagine Meghan is not looking for anyone's approval. So I will continue to say, if you like her, you like her. If you don't, you don't. That is not going to stop her from living her life. It's as simple as that. Harry, as I said before in previous video, he knows he was punching above his weight. And it's like the stardust has rubbed off on him. And it's just reminiscent of Diana to me. You know, when she died, I remember that like it was yesterday, because I was in Kensington later on that day. I'd heard in the early hours, because I couldn't sleep, and I was watching the news throughout the night with regard to this accident, and I actually drove up to Kensington Palace, and I've never seen anything like that before. Not even since 31st of August 1997. Never seen anything like that before in my life. You know, people sobbing, people hysterical, and the majority of these people never knew her. Enigma. Certain people have it and certain people don't. You don't need everybody to have access to you to be liked, guys. Allow people to dislike you. Allow people to have their opinion of you. That is none of your business what they think of you. Let them think what they want to think. Your responsibility is to live your life, and for your life to have a positive effect on those around you, and even people indirectly who you don't know. That's really our responsibility. So let them continue. Next week will be something else. But in the meantime, guys, if your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you shall catch me in the next video.